Who is Hussein? This is the question we often get, especially in a crowd that isn't aware of this man.
Labbaika ya Hussein!
Labbaika ya Hussein!
Labbaika ya Hussein!
Some of the brochures and the signs that people hold that express the values like respect, self-dignity, justice, love, all of these things are shown and nurtured in the message of Imam Hussein.
Specifically for the Arbaeen walk, the message that is conveyed is the importance of coming together with people from every sector of the world, every nation, every country, regardless of faith. I think that's a beautiful thing, and that's the kind of environment that we have to create not only on the Arbaeen walk, but throughout the world in general.
Today we are all gathered here to commemorate Arbaeen. Arbaeen marks the 40th day after Imam Hussein's martyrdom.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Hamza and I'm here to spread the news of our holy Imam.
My name is Haneen and I'm here for Imam Hussein.
The Arbaeen walk takes place in Iraq every year as it marks the end of a 40-day mourning period after Imam Hussein's death. During the Arbaeen walk, pilgrims embark on an approximately 50-mile journey starting in Najaf, which is a city in southern Iraq, and it ends in Karbala, which is where Imam Hussein's final resting place was.
The mission is to spread the message of Imam Hussein. It was 1400 years ago, but we still remember it, and every Muharram we go through this, and there's Arbaeen walk in Karbala, and we try to resemble it here because we're obviously not there. So that's what we're out here doing today.
As we continue to walk through Princeton today, we continue to remember and keep Imam Hussein's memory alive, and we stand for what he stood for, which is justice, righteousness, love, peace, and hope.
Who is Hussein? Perhaps you see him as the grandson of the Holy Prophet of Islam. Perhaps you see him as a divinely appointed leader. Perhaps you see him as a philosopher. Perhaps you see him as an intellectual. Perhaps you see him as a champion of social justice. And perhaps you see him as a community leader.
As we walk in respect and commemoration of Imam Hussein, we realize and we remember those that are in need, those where injustice has been done upon them, those who have been oppressed. And that helps us connect this story, this sacrifice of 1400 years ago to our daily lives, and helps us remember and be aware of the need to stand for justice and to stand with dignity.
One of the most famous quotes that Hussein has is, "I would rather die than live a life of humiliation."
This story, the story of Imam Hussein, is not a story that we keep under wraps. It's not a story, it's not an event that we keep for ourselves and we revive every year. It's a story that we have to share with others. Imam Hussein told us that you cannot take your freedom for granted. You cannot just accept anyone coming and imposing on you tyrannical rule.
Imam Hussein to us is a symbol of truth, justice, and he left a noble message for us to always stand with the truth and never bow down to falsehood. And what is the truth, right? That's the real question. What did Imam Hussein sacrifice everything for 1400 years ago? He sacrificed so that we're able to understand what true goodness looks like. He sacrificed himself so that we may understand what forgiveness looks like. He sacrificed himself so that we may know who God is. Imam Hussein gave up everything just for us to have these valuable lessons of truth and positivity.
If you look in Iraq right now, from Najaf, which is a city in Karbala, in Iraq, and to Karbala is a march that is going on, which is commemorating the sacrifice of the grandson of the Prophet. This is the biggest gathering in the world, and is something that everyone should do a simple Google search of.
Today, in the holy city of Karbala, there's 25 million people marching towards this holy shrine.
This is actually just a small version of what actually happens in Iraq. Every year, over 25 million people gather from Najaf in the walk. Many, like hundreds of
kilometers to Karbala to pay their respects and remember the sacrifice of Imam Hussein alayhi salam.
These are all of the words and all of the things that Imam Hussein and his family stand for. Hussein stands up for morality. Hussein stands up for freedom. You can see that these are the messages that Imam Hussein and his companions wanted to spread.
He left everything for us, and everything that he left was good.
In a way, us doing this here has a more impact because we're showing the world. The non-Muslims here are seeing us and they're asking questions. So inshallah, wherever you are in the world, wherever someone is able to spread the message of Imam Hussein, they should do so.
Arbaeen, the significance is that the Prophet's family was not able to commemorate, and then after 40 days after going to Sham, they were finally able to go back to the bodies and finally pray on them and bury them and commemorate them in a proper way.
It's important to understand that Imam Hussein was Imam Hussein before Karbala. Hussein was a philanthropist. Hussein was a community leader. Hussein was a friend. Hussein was someone that would help the orphans of his time. Hussein was the one that would house the homeless in his time. And when he saw that a tyrannical leader had taken up the pulpit, he knew that this was not a time to sit down. He stood up against the oppressor of his time to send a message, not just to the people of his time, but to all of humanity. And as we can see, 1400 years later, for generation after generation, we are commemorating the sacrifice of Imam Hussein.
Anytime, anywhere we see oppression happening, even within Princeton, New Jersey, within our states, within the United States, regardless of religion, regardless of ethnic background, regardless of skin color, whenever we see oppression, we should stand against it.
We have to stand up for justice. We have to talk against oppression, and we have to help people wherever we can that are getting oppressed, and to do our part as members of humanity.
We should say a word, because this is the message of Imam Hussein. This is the flame that Imam al-Sadiq reflects upon when he talks that there's this flame that lives in the hearts of the believers.
Imam Hussein is not just a symbol for the Muslims or for the Shia, but he is a symbol for all of humanity. What he sacrificed with his family on the day of Ashura stood for all of the oppression that goes on in the world until this day. There's a reason why his message and his memory is still alive, and the memory of his oppressors and those who tried to kill him are not.
Standwithdignity has organized the Arbaeen Walk to stand in alliance with the values of Imam Hussein: freedom, justice, morality, and equality.
Muslims and non-Muslims, what are their needs? How can you help improve your community today? And we get inspired by the message of Imam Hussein every year to go find those that are in need, those that need support, those that are feeling injustice, and support them.
Who is Hussein? Perhaps you see him as a philanthropist. Perhaps you see him as one of the best fathers to ever walk this earth. Perhaps you see him as one of the best brothers to walk this earth. And perhaps you see him as one of the best sons to walk this earth. Who is Hussein?
Justice,
dignity, freedom,
sacrifice,
unity,
justice, equality,
humanity,
our duty,
sacrifice,
flame, love, community,
the truth.
That is who Hussein is. Hussein is that figure that transcends time, and that has continued to transcend time until today, and will continue to transcend for generations to come.